Hello, this is Prom Machine back with some more Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Just after a bunch of tweaks to try and get things working, finally got the spell effects working the way they're supposed to, with it popping out of the background like that. So that's nice. Hopefully I didn't break anything else in the process. It certainly took me a few tries to get that right. So I've already got my library card equipped, because I'm going straight to the library, so let's go. I also did some other tweaks. I boosted the gain a little bit on my microphone since it seemed like I was getting drowned out by the game audio a bit. And I tried to turn the audio down a bit, though it still sounds pretty loud. It may just have been not quite enough. So let's put on the shield rod, because even just as a normal weapon, it's quite good. You can fire out these things. They don't really do much. They block bullets, but that doesn't come up very often. I think they're mostly just to look cool. Do I actually need to buy anything?
What can I do for you?
I'm interested in this.
And I also tweaked my resolution, and the game looks so much better now. Like, really crisp pixels. So that's good. I basically made sure it was the same as a television resolution of that era. It's 4:3. So let's see. What's this? Okay, this is just a +1 to everything ring, which is kind of cool, but I didn't remember that at all. That's an interesting item. I mean, it's got a cool name, too. I'm wondering what that's a reference to.
I'm interested in this.
I haven't really seen pails used as a verb. So there's a big glitch you can do to get a bunch of things that speedrunners like to do, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to sell these normally.
I'm interested in this.
I don't have to worry about losing my currency because it's not Dark Souls. How much of a defense upgrade is this? It's a really big one. And since I'm not really interested in dying in this run, I think it's probably worth my while to just buy this fancy armor.
Thank you. Farewell for now.
Though I'd kind of like to save up for the Joseph's Cloak, which you can custom color, which is kind of fun. So we've kind of already been in this area and commented on it aesthetically, so unless something new catches my attention, God, it looks so much better now. Hopefully this is carried over to the YouTube video. But fixing the resolution just really makes this look a lot nicer. Something that I was noticing is that this is one of the earliest games I've seen. Well, never mind. I mean, there's actually Super Nintendo games that do this, but it's a fairly early example of skeletal animation, which I wasn't really noticing for when it was occurring. But there's like some enemies that use kind of neat. Oh, there we go. These guys can be pretty dangerous. Not so much the sword guys, but the flea armors can be quite nasty. Basically, take your normal flea man type enemy, and then give him the ability to actually do damage. Though he can't really take any. So just as a normal weapon, Shield Rod is pretty good, but it also has a special ability. If you use it and your shield at the same time, it'll cast a different spell for each shield in the game. That's pretty good. I couldn't remember what shield did what, but that seems, most of them are just like stat boosts and stuff, which aren't that cool. But that seems like really good. The one disadvantage to this and all other blunt weapons, I think I mentioned this when I was using the dual knuckle, is that there's a spell, Dark Metamorphosis, which lets you gain HP each time you kill an enemy that sprays blood, and that only happens if you're using an edged weapon. So this is like, I'm wondering if this actually fools anybody, because this is so obviously different than the rest of the terrain, and there's nothing to cover up what's behind it. It would actually be pretty effective if there was like a foreground object, like right here, if there was a foreground object that started there and covered up the back half of it. Oh, that's cool. It actually kind of has some actual physics to it. I sort of assumed that it was kind of just scripted to lock into place once you do that, or it was just a barrier that would erode once you pushed it. But no, it can actually keep on getting rotated around. That's kind of cool. Oh, we got a different rod, which is much worse. So we're not going to use that. The stone mask is basically a straight upgrade. And plus you can't see it, but I have to imagine it looks pretty fucking sweet. So, I like the background here, just, it's the storage room where they put all the crap they don't know what to do with behind the secret passage. Also, it's a really nice little flame. I like the effect they have where it's sort of echoed behind it. I think it's just excuse me, a little bit of a sneeze. The same animation, scaled up and made a little bit more transparent just behind it, but it adds a really nice sort of feel to it. They put so much effort into these little lamps and stuff, and they're actually important in this game just due to the mechanic of you destroying them to get items. But looking at all of these, like these lamps, slice of cheese, all these lamps and stuff are really cool. I'd actually love to see these with a little bit more advanced of a lighting effect, where they actually sort of maybe like an additive lighting effect. But that's I've been experimenting. Oh no, this is a bad weapon. Like specifically, it's supposed to be like a practice sword, so it's not just bad because it didn't work out. It's bad because it's supposed to be just not quite a joke weapon, but an atmosphere weapon. Which is something I really like the idea of putting equipment just to be interesting rather than to actually be used. Okay, and I can do the shield spell on this guy. In theory. There we go. Yeah, that does a ton of damage. And now that... I may have to just sort of not use that on the same principle as holy water and stuff, because that's so good. So what's weird about this game, and one of the reasons why I keep on saying it's very haphazard, is that you have these backgrounds, which are basically just a static image that's behind me. Like, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be an actual staircase, but it could just as easily be a painting of a staircase. Like, there's nothing to make this feel three-dimensional. This is actually kind of primitive. Like, they could do something that expresses this concept more powerfully with just a parallax background in a Super Nintendo game. But then they have actual 3D backgrounds in other parts of the game, so it's very strange. Like this, there's no three-dimensionality to this at all, and then there's other parts of the game which have these beautiful, like, crazy multi-layered backgrounds with different things going on each layer. Like, this background back here, way off in the distance, that's the kind of background that this background looks like it is. I mean, not quite as much as that. I mean, obviously this is like a mid-ground versus that background, but comparing the two against each other, it's very odd how little that one moves. Or how much that one moves, actually, technically, since it's... if it was further back, it would move less as I move to the foreground. It's L1 for the mist. And now I've got bat form, which lets me move around a lot faster, just generally speaking. Because bat gets a special ability that lets it do that. There's a similar one for the wolf, which I'll get eventually. But in the meanwhile, this is going to be my best way to get around. I'm sure if you've watched any speedruns, you've seen lots of this ability. Having a button to use items in real time is something I miss so much from Dark Souls, because, you know, you have all these cool items to use in this game, and just no way to really use them. I'd say it's a big flaw of the game. I mean, it's cool that the items are there, but pragmatically, most of the time that might as well not be. Like, as a player, you don't get much out of, you know, these javelins and stuff. So, just got the first familiar. Could use her. Not gonna. It seems like this familiar is sort of supposed to be the solution to that problem. Like, they're like, well, what if you had a familiar that could use these items for you? But then I'm like, I don't like somebody using my items without my permission. Really? That's a decision I want to have in my hands. I guess these guys are strong towards blunt damage, which I believe is calculated in this game. There are different physical damage types. I just went out of my way a little bit, because those guys can all drop 2,000 gold. It is a kind of a slow weapon. Why am I... Having done that, why am I still sort of slowly going through here? I don't know. As soon as I clear these guys out, I'll bat through the bottom, through the next floor. Ah, got cursed. Doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. Means I'm gonna... It keeps you from attacking, which is kind of an interesting take on curse. But I have other ways of attacking. And it doesn't last that long either. Even though it looked like he stabbed me right through the face, I got hit by his elbow first. It was sort of a Four Kings situation. Ooh, that's a... Oh boy, okay, well it didn't crash or anything. That was just a really ugly glitch, I guess. So let's go up to the wharf, since I should have grabbed the wharf before. Should I do the clock tower? I think the thing I want is actually up here. Yeah. I feel like I should do... Let's see. Well, first thing I should do is get back to... that's really ugly. Sorry about that. I guess it's back to the drawing board as far as drivers and stuff go. I feel like I should go back to Olrox's quarters and do the rest of this section, and also go down to get the super jump. Which is like, that and Bat gives me everything I need to really navigate this place. So let's start with grabbing the super jump. There we go. It's having a little bit of a hard time executing that. It does take a full circle to use the ability, so it's an easy motion to mess up. For me, anyway. I'm sure expert fighting game players would disagree. But looking at it on the preview here, and mostly except for this moment, looks pretty good. Okay, I can just fly on up. I think there's a couple of HP ups as well. And just some miscellaneous crap. That's all stuff for the fairy to use. The life apple, I think, actually revives you after you die. I mean, this stuff is all actually, like, kind of good. I just don't like the fairy. Like, I don't like having items used without my permission. I find this use of, like, really black areas in the background so interesting. It's such a striking contrast that creates. And, you know, it sort of evokes the idea of like, light and shadow without really, you know, modeling lighting in the way you'd want to if you were rendering an area. Now, something... Now, this is really cool, actually. If you look at this, I think this is just the same texture all throughout, but they just use strips of dark area up and down to shade it. So, you know, one would think, oh, just make light tiles and dark tiles. I don't think they even did that. I think they just made a brick texture, and then just for the background, they use strips of shadow up and down here. I'm wondering how you'd make a level editor to do these kinds of things. Like, maybe just make it so you can draw rectangles of tint onto your background. And, you know, it doesn't take any space to save a tint like that, and you can add a lot of detail to your background that way. So that's really interesting. I'll have to consider that. Would it involve adding a whole new type of level data layer to my game? And I already have like 3 kinds of level data, where it's like the tile data and the enemy entity placements and the navigation map are all different kinds of data that get saved for each level. Okay, fly through here. I said before that there was one spot where I saw this, I was like, is that the only spot they use it? No, they use this little indent in the wall all over the place. Pretty much anywhere they use this little arch, which is cool. It looks like, I'm trying to figure out what the actual collision is on here. It'll probably be a lot easier to do in the reverse castle. It's probably just at another 45-degree thing. Actually, it's, so this is what I got. I got the gravity jump boots. Oops. And I accidentally used them to do a jump kick there, which is not what you want. It's a little bit tricky. But it can move you really quickly, as you can see here. And the way this is done is just by tapping down then up for a jump. See, now that I notice that, I'm noticing all these places where they just use the same tiles, and then they shade them with additional info like this. And it's so powerful. I really feel like maybe I should be like seriously considering how to do that. I also love these guys in the background, just such a nice little background element. They don't do anything, they just rattle the bars, and then they go away when you walk away. Will he turn around? I guess he just leaves and then comes back. Does he even come back? Maybe not. So this stuff would drive me crazy if I was making a game. I'd feel like, oh man, if I have this... Look at that door. Isn't that an interesting looking door? I want to go back there now. And that would drive me crazy if I was making the game. I'd be like, no, I have to put something. I need to make a secret here. And you know, it's an entirely different kind of game design when you start adding doors that you can go through as stock. It's a good weapon in Dark Souls. It's a very different weapon in this game because it's a two-handed. So special moves? Doesn't seem like it. Well, it has good attack, it looks like. What was it? Yeah, really good attack. It nerfs my defense pretty hard, but I guess I'm fine with that. Especially since I got that armor, which is stronger than I think you generally have at this point. So that foreshortened texture is really neat too. It's the sort of thing I never even think of making, but it looks really nice here. So that's another thing I think I should be considering. Oops, oh, yeah, that thing always... It's like a trap. It always fucks you up and steals your sub-weapon. See, here, it looks like they started kind of planning for the reverse castle here, because this room looks upside down already. So you sort of get these subtle clues about what's coming later on. And that door is textured differently. Interesting. He invited me to sit, but I guess he didn't really want me to. Okay, that hurts. Like, mostly physically, but a little bit emotionally. This is kind of a bad weapon for this fight. If I die, I'll switch to another one. Oh, I got him. I got his first phase, which apparently gives experience separately from his second. You can kind of damage boost through his attacks just by keeping on walking into his foot. Although even his fireballs aren't really doing any damage to me. It adds up eventually. There we go. Could solve everything. For some reason, I always remember this boss. So that's some great skeletal, like quite literally skeletal animation there. And that's why it looks so, like, generally the skeletal animation looks so good in this game, is because they use it very minimalistically. Like, they don't use it to replace other animation, they just use it to augment it. This isn't a very good weapon, just because the animation is so weird. Like, if that guy had actually done any damage to me, this weapon would have been useless for that fight, because it would have just kept... There's no way to keep it from moving me forward each time I swing it, so it would have just kept on moving me into him. Oh, I love the curtains in the background. I mean, there's no real technique there, is there? Well, I should say no, like, pixeling technique, or... God, how do I want to put this? I guess tile art technique. There's no... It's not that. It's just a nice looking piece of art there. So this feels like it should be some storytelling. I don't know if it is. But it sure looks like it, doesn't it? But this might just not be that kind of game. And this special door... so intriguing. I'm trying to think if there's another place where door has been used outside of a world transition in this game. I kind of think maybe not. can drop down here. There's some interesting momentum to jumps, it feels like. Sometimes it just feels like coming out of a high jump especially, you just can't get any momentum. So that's probably a 45-degree slope. No, I actually got stuck on it a little bit. Maybe not. I think it is, though. It probably is not. The specific slopes of every piece of terrain are probably not as interesting to other people as they are to me, but it's, like I said, it's something I've worked on my game so much on. Okay, these are just 45 degrees here. And those ones up there are pretty much just upside down versions. Here's the foreshortened version of the tile again, but it's used in the foreground here instead of the background. But it looks like basically the same texture, so it may just be that they use different tints to denote when it's in the background. Ooh, oh wow! Look at that, the 3D wall there. See, these are the things that I never noticed playing the game the first however many times I've played it. So many. This whole courtyard area. Ooh, that hurts. Okay, X is fine. This blood fountain uses the same water effect as that other fountain I was noting. Are they, I don't know how this effect is achieved. Because, you know, you'd think you just set this as sort of a mask layer and move the texture over it. And I guess maybe they do that, but then for the horizontal bits, it's a different moving texture. It moves outwards. I don't know. It's not a common effect anymore. So I haven't really seen the implementation noted. I should probably be being a little bit more careful here. Ooh, new sword. Aw, man, it's a damage downgrade. Oh, it's way faster though. And I can do the double swing where I swing it right before I land. Something that is also cool about the gravity boots is if you do them at an angle, you can get the angled jump. And the reason I'm doing this is just to fill out my map. It's not actually important. Okay. See, I can't enter any input at all when I'm falling there. The blood is tinted a little bit green there. I don't know if it's supposed to be. I feel like I'm learning a lot just paying attention to how this game operates. Let's avoid that. Because a lot of it is not how I would expect. You know, all those things with tint layers on top are kind of a surprise to me. And then there's actual shadow tiles here that they have too, like these ones here, running in a line. Where does this put me? I didn't even remember there was a connection to another zone here. Oh, okay. There's not a lot I can do here except for just collect items, so probably... what do I want to do? I'm pretty far from the closest warp zone, though. Just in kind of a weird spot. I guess the fastest way to go is the most boring, and I'm just gonna double back here. There was no reason to do that. I just realized even if I did the wing smash, it would stop me when I went through the door. Come on. Come on. There we go. Ah. I really do love the music for this zone, too. And here's another room where they obviously started planning it out. I wonder at what point in the game's development they decided they were going to do the reverse castle. Because, you know, this room is one that very much makes more sense upside down. And that jump kick is just one frame, which is really all you need. Okay. So actually, now that I think of it, this might actually not even get me closer. The closest spot to where I want to go may actually be Old Rox's quarters. Because where I want to go now is I just want to get back down to the caves. And do the stuff that needs to be done there. Yeah, okay. So that was a little bit of a goofy journey, but whatever. There's just so much detail in this game, like it's easy to forget and just think of backgrounds like these that are pretty simple and just forget about the crazy multi-layer backgrounds like in the previous room. In a lot of ways, it's still impressive. I guess I'm going up and then down. Over and then down. Ah! I'm messing up these wing smashes constantly now. Every time you see me stop and then nudge forward, that's me messing up a wing smash. That's at least a little bit rewarding. What did I just pick up? This is probably the stopwatch I was thinking of. That was near the clock room. Okay, here's where I'm gonna go. So look at that background. It like implies this whole sunken city kind of back there. That's kind of a Dark Souls thing. this shattered tower with what looks like a whole bunch of other shattered towers kind of in the background. Very Dark Souls. Well, I guess we're just going to drop down this shaft and save again, and that's going to be it, because it's getting around the length I planned for these videos to be, and I can't see any, manageable bit of progress I can make in this time. Actually, no, I can. Why don't we do this silly fight? For some reason I was thinking you needed a special item to do this, but I don't think you do. Oh, well, I got another Claymore. Also a good weapon in Dark Souls. And now I'm going to shut up about Dark Souls, because that's not the video game I'm playing right now. Moonstone. As I recall, it gives you stat boosts. It's supposedly, I don't know actually exactly how it works. It says it boosts you at night, but I don't know how night is calculated in this game. It might just be alternating half hours or alternating 24 minutes. Well, I don't know. I guess it would be alternating 12 minutes if they were. So now we have this weird looking save point, which is going to take me towards the worst voice acting in the game. And boy, that's saying something, isn't it? Cool background, though.
Mother!
That voice! Alucard, it's you!
I'm coming, Mother! I'll save you!
No, Alucard! Don't come here!
But Mother!
It's all right. If my death can save others, I'd gladly surrender my life.
Mother, no! Please, no!
Yes, Alucard. Watch me die, and remember always my last words to you.
Yes, Mother.
You must despise humans. They are to be your prey.
What?
Better for them to die than to let them compound their sins. Begin by slaying that one over there.
No, it wasn't like this.
What's wrong? Alucard.
My mother never said such a thing.
What do you mean? Kill them and bring them happiness.
No, you're not my mother. What kind of demon are you?
So hopefully I'll win this fight on the first try, so we don't need to
I like that.
watch this multiple times.
Demon, death is too good for you.
Come here, little boy, and show me what you got.
Okay, and now apparently I can't cast that spell either. So apparently at some point I got enough defense that no spells and the no attacks really hurt me very much. Okay, she's pinwheeling this. There we go, that's what I wanted. It's a very easy fight.
Darkling, I smell your blood. You're a vampire? Could it be?
She smells
That
I am
strength,
blood.
That beauty. You're the son of Lord Dracula.
Death in the dream world will set your soul wandering for eternity, demon.
Wait, I beg of you.
Yep. So that's that fight. And I got one of the 2 rings I need to get to the reverse castle. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I hope you're enjoying the series so far, and I will see you next time.